All right, today we're going to dive into a force that's, well, kind of hidden, but it shapes basically everything around you, from the bridges you drive over to the very chair you might be sitting in right now. It's called skew bending, and trust me, it's a total game changer in engineering. I mean, just think about it for a second. When does anything in the real world ever happen in a perfect straight line? Almost never, right? You've got gusts of wind hitting a building, or you just toss your backpack over a chair. None of those forces are perfectly straight. So what actually happens when things get a little, well, messy? And that is where skew bending comes into play. You see, when a load hits a beam at an angle, just like you're seeing in this diagram, it doesn't just create one simple stress. Oh no, it creates this complex cocktail of stresses all at once. And look, understanding this is literally the difference between a structure that stands strong for decades and one that, well, doesn't. Okay, so here's how we're going to break this all down. First, we'll talk about why loads are almost never perfect. Then, we'll cover the absolute basics of bending. From there, we'll see how to combine two different moments, which is the key to this whole thing. We're even going to solve a real skew problem together. And finally, we'll wrap up with the engineer's final answer and why this matters so much. All right, let's kick things off with the big question, right? Why do we even have to worry about these angled forces in the first place? I mean, why can't everything just be nice and simple, just straight on? Well, it's because you've definitely experienced this, even if you didn't know what it was called. Just picture this. You're trying to close a super stubborn car door, but you're in a really tight parking spot. You can't push it straight, right? So you have to kind of push it at an angle. That push, that is skew bending. It's a perfect real-world example. Okay, so to really get a handle on skew bending, we first need to understand the basic building blocks. We're going to start super simple and then build our way up, so don't you worry. We've got this. First up, you've got axial stress. This is the most straightforward kind of stress there is. Seriously, just imagine you're in a tug-of-war, pulling on a rope. That direct pull, that's axial stress. It's simply the force, which we engineers call P, spread out evenly over the area of the rope, which we call A. And this diagram, it shows it perfectly. Just look at how those little arrows, which represent the stress, by the way, are distributed totally evenly across the surface. That right there is pure axial stress. Super simple, clean, and direct. Okay, but what happens if that force isn't perfectly centered? Well, then you get bending. And in the engineering world, we call that a moment. You can just think of it as a kind of twisting force. So when a beam bends around just one axis, let's call it the z-axis for now, we call that uniaxial bending. It creates a totally different kind of stress, and that formula you see is how we calculate it. Okay, now here's where it starts to get really interesting. Take a look at this. The stress is not uniform anymore. Not at all. As that beam bends, see how the top part gets all squeezed together? That's compression. And at the same time, the bottom part gets stretched out. That's tension. So the stress is literally changing from top to bottom. All right, so we've covered axial stress and we've covered bending around a single axis. Now, it's time to put it all together. This is where we see how these basic ideas combine to give us the full picture of skew bending. And we're going to build this big, scary-looking equation piece by piece just to show you that there's really no magic here. It all starts with that first thing we talked about, the simple, direct push or pull, our good old axial stress, P over A. Okay, next step, we add in the next piece. This is the stress from the bending that happens around that horizontal z-axis. This term right here accounts for the force pushing up or down, the one that creates that tension and compression we just saw. And for the grand finale, we add the last piece of our puzzle, the stress from bending around the vertical y-axis. This part comes from the sideways push of our angled force. And that's it. That's the full skew bending equation. I know, it might look a little intimidating, but you just saw us build it. It's really just those three simple stresses all added together. So what does this actually look like? What's the big difference? Well, on the left, you see that clean, predictable stress from simple bending. But look at the right. That's skew bending. The whole stress pattern is now tilted. The corners of the beam are taking the biggest hit, not the top and bottom. And that, my friends, is an absolutely crucial difference. Okay, theory is one thing, but let's make this real. We're going to walk through a classic engineering problem right now so you can see exactly how this equation gets used out in the wild. And don't worry, we'll break it down into 4 super simple steps. We'll understand the setup, list out the key values we need, plug them into the formula, and then find the result. See? Easy. So here is our problem. We've got this wooden beam, 100 by 150 millimeters. It's under a total load of 4 kilonewtons, but, and here's the important part, that load is not pushing straight down. It's coming in at a 30-degree angle. So our mission is to find the absolute maximum stress right in the middle of that beam.
Okay, step 2. We need to figure out the key values for our formula. That angled load actually creates 2 different bending moments, one around the z-axis and another one around the y-axis. We also have to calculate something called the moment of inertia for each axis, which is really just a fancy engineering term for how resistant the beam is to bending. These are the numbers we're going to need to crack this case. All right, step 3, this is where the magic happens. We're going to take all those values we just found and plug them right into our full skew bending equation. And since we are on the hunt for the maximum possible stress, we're going to focus on the corners of the beam, because we know that's where things get the most intense. And after we run all the numbers through, we get our answer. The maximum stress that this beam is feeling is 6.47 megapascals. And let me tell you, this one number, this is the moment of truth for an engineer. This tells you if that beam is safe or if it's a disaster waiting to happen.
So there we go. We got a number. But why? Why did we go through all that math? What is the actual real-world point of all this?
Well, because this is so much more than just a number on a page. This calculation is what helps engineers prevent catastrophic failures in things like buildings and bridges. It helps them design things that are not just safe, but also more efficient, using only the material they actually need. It's about saving money, saving resources, and most importantly, accurately understanding how the real world actually works.
So now you know how engineers handle these tricky angled forces? The next time you're out and about, I want you to look around. Look at a balcony, a street lamp, or a big highway sign, and ask yourself, what structures around you are secretly fighting off skew bending every single day?